Hey guys, it's Lucky here. It's just been announced that the next Elder Scrolls Chapter expansion is due out May 18th for PC and June 2nd for console. They're calling this chapter Greymoor, and it looks like it's got some fascinating additions to the game coming with it. While this chapter will take place in Skyrim, it will not be the same Skyrim you explored in Elder Scrolls V. Elder Scrolls Online takes place about 1,000 years before Elder Scrolls Skyrim. Fortunately, many of the locations we know and love are there and ready to be explored in a different era. This expansion is going to be much more dark and tense than the Elsewhere chapter. The story for Greymoor will deal largely with vampires, which are receiving a complete overhaul. Skills, animations, and even the Vampire Ultimate are getting completely revamped. The Vampire Ult will now cause players to transform into a Blood Scion or Vampire Lord. Inversely to how vampirism works now, players will need to feed often to up their vamp level. The Greymoor chapters will be visiting familiar locations like Solitude. Morthal will make an appearance as a delve, Labyrinthian will arrive in the form of a public dungeon, and most notable might be Blackreach, which will be an entire zone. You may recall stumbling across Blackreach for the first time in Elder Scrolls V and remarking at how incredibly huge it was. In the Greymoor chapter, Blackreach is going to be enormous, even larger than it was in Skyrim. By size, it's going to be 40% of the explorable area for the entire expansion. It will contain new biomes, new areas, new vampires, and even Falmer. Every Nord grows up hearing the legends of Blackreach while sitting around the campfire, but none of them believe it actually exists deep under their feet. Until now. Greymoor will also feature a new skill line called Antiquities. It's been described as turning the adventurers into the Indiana Joneses of Tamriel as they explore all corners of the world in search of long-lost buried treasures. There will be 2 new minigames associated with the skill line, described as a mix and match puzzle game. These treasures will vary from house decorations to a mount to a new PvP siege weapon and even mythic items. Mythic items are an entirely new type of item in ESO which will drop as CP 160 gold items. You can only wear one mythic item at a time, but they provide unique bonuses such as a ring that increases move speed in and out of battle or body armor that restores magicka when blocking. The possibilities for this to add depth and variety to the builds in ESO is amazing. Hopefully, these items are solid enough on their own to warrant losing an entire set bonus so that they don't fall by the wayside. Last but not least to be mentioned was the new trial, which is being called Kind's Aegis. Details on the trial were light for now, but what we do know is that we will be teaming up with our larger-than-life ally, Lyris. With a task so large, even she seems to be struggling. The developers like the length and scope of Sunspire and are aiming to have a similarly sized trial, although more linear this time around, with boss fights that require more movement. More details about the Greymoor chapter will be provided closer to release, but in the meantime we get the Q1 DLC, Harrowstorm. It's due to hit PTS around the week of January 20th, 2020. This DLC will consist of 2 dungeons and a prologue quest that will lead us into the events of Greymoor. The first dungeon will take place on the island of Ice Reach in the Sea of Ghosts, where an expedition was sent but never returned. That is when we brave explorers are tasked with venturing in to find out what happened to them. This story sounds amazing. Also, it looks like we'll be using our grappling hooks in here. Completing this dungeon on Veteran will reward players with Lyris' Battle Axe style page. The second of the 2 dungeons will be the Unhallowed Grave. Pyre Watch was assigned the task of watching over the site but failed. Something has gone terribly awry. We also got a very short glimpse of what appears to be an enormous boss at the end of this dungeon. I can't wait to battle this thing. For completing this dungeon on Veteran, players will be rewarded with a red body marking, not too unlike the Sijic Guild tattoos. And that's all we know so far. What are you most excited about? If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like, the subscribe, and the notification bell so you know when we post more videos about ESO. I'm Lucky Ghost and I stream ESO every single day. Link and schedule in the description below. Hope to see you soon.